Imagine, if you will, a small, peaceful town where trust and familiarity thrive, where strangers rarely pass through, and the rhythm of everyday life flows like a steady river. Now, picture that tranquility utterly shattered, turned into an eerie, unrecognizable nightmare, in the span of just one night. Palyam, a town where safety and security once seemed invincible, would never be the same again beginning on the evening of April 22, 2019. On this night, the beloved Sister Abhaya, a devoted nun who dedicated her life to helping others, was discovered dead, her life extinguished in a violent and brutal manner that no one could foresee. Who could have done this to someone so pure-hearted, so trusted by so many? The investigation began as a simple inquiry, but soon, it transformed into a torturous search for the truth, one so complex and riddled with contradictions that even the most experienced detectives were left scratching their heads. What happened that night? Was it a case of personal vendetta, an act of passion, or something far more elusive, a deeper, darker story hidden right beneath the surface? As time passed, pieces of the puzzle began to emerge from conflicting statements, witness accounts, and moments of reckless haste. Every clue seemed to offer hope, only to lead to more questions. Meanwhile, the town, still in shock, struggled to find answers amidst the confusion. How could someone who served her community with such devotion become the center of such an unfathomable mystery? Who was the real victim here? And could anyone ever uncover the truth behind the quiet horror that hit so close to home? Today, we embark on this journey together, into the heart of a case that continues to baffle legal minds and touch the very core of human emotion. We will follow the twisted path of hints revealed by witnesses, the layers of deceit that clouded the investigation, and the milestones that turned this case into one of the most perplexing crimes ever to unfold in Palyam. Imagine a quiet evening in Palyam on April 22, 2019, a night when the familiar rhythm of daily life was abruptly interrupted by a tragedy that would leave an entire community searching for answers. In the heart of this close-knit town, St. Joseph's Convent had long stood as a symbol of hope, a sanctuary where faith and compassion guided every action. It was within these hallowed walls that Sister Abhaya, a woman revered for her selfless dedication and gentle spirit, lived a life devoted to service. That night, however, everything changed. As darkness settled over Palyam, an unsettling stillness took hold. In the early hours, the silence was shattered by the discovery of a scene no one could have ever imagined. Sister Abhaya was found dead, her life extinguished in circumstances that defied immediate explanation. Emergency responders arrived amid a flurry of activity, their faces etched with disbelief as they began the painstaking process of securing the scene and collecting every scrap of evidence. In the days that followed, seasoned investigators delved into every detail, each piece of evidence, every statement from those who remembered her warmth, began to form a mosaic that was as intricate as it was confounding. How could a woman known for her unwavering kindness and commitment to the welfare of others become the focal point of such a perplexing case? As we begin to unravel the events of that fateful night, we will trace the steps that led to the discovery of a tragedy that not only unsettled a town but also challenged the very foundation of trust within the community. Witnesses recounted moments of quiet tension before the incident, and forensic experts later revealed details that raised more questions than answers. Every new lead and every conflicting testimony added layers to a mystery that continues to resonate with those who lived through it. Sister Abhaya, a woman whose every day was devoted to uplifting those around her. Born in the small town of Palyam, Sister Abhaya grew up with a deep sense of duty and compassion instilled by her family and community. From her early years, she was known for her gentle demeanor and a commitment to service that led her to join St. Joseph's Convent. There, she embraced her calling with quiet determination, dedicating herself to the spiritual and social welfare of the people she encountered. Friends, colleagues, and community members recall her warm smile and tireless efforts to bring comfort and hope to those in need. In archival photographs and heartfelt interviews, voices from Palyam describe a woman who not only performed her religious duties with grace but also took the time to listen, to console, and to inspire, a presence that was both reassuring and transformative. Her life, marked by countless acts of kindness, served as a beacon of stability and compassion in a community that deeply valued her contributions. Yet, the story of Sister Abhaya cannot be separated from the fabric of Palyam itself. This town, with its long-standing traditions and strong sense of community, has weathered many challenges over the years. In the years leading up to the events that would forever alter its course, Palyam was a place where the bonds between neighbors were tight and traditions ran deep. Local customs and cultural practices formed the backbone of daily life, while modest economic progress often mingled with long-held values and expectations. However, beneath the surface of everyday interactions, there existed a series of unresolved tensions, differences in opinion, struggles over resources, and subtle conflicts between modern influences and age-old practices. In such an environment, every community member played a role in maintaining a delicate balance between progress and tradition. For many, Sister Abhaya represented a bridge between these worlds, a trusted guide who not only provided spiritual comfort but also worked to address the practical concerns of a community in transition. Her commitment to education, healthcare, and social welfare initiatives earned her widespread respect. Yet, as is sometimes the case in communities marked by deep-seated beliefs and emerging pressures, there were moments when these very efforts brought underlying disagreements into sharper focus. Disputes over resource allocation, differing visions for the future, and even personal grievances among some residents quietly set the stage for events that would soon come to a head. It was in this context, a town striving to reconcile its cherished traditions with the demands of a changing world, that the tragic loss of Sister Abhaya unfolded, leaving not only unanswered questions but also a profound sense of loss among those who had come to rely on her wisdom and care. On the night of April 22, 2019, in the quiet town of Palyam, events unfolded that would etch themselves into the collective memory of its residents. At approximately 10:30 p.m., Sister Abhaya was seen leaving the small chapel within the grounds of St. Joseph's Convent. As she stepped out into the cool night air after a late evening prayer service, witnesses recall her calm demeanor and gentle smile, an image that would soon be forever marred by tragedy. In the hours that followed, a series of events began to converge, each detail meticulously recorded by local authorities. Surveillance footage from a nearby building captured fleeting images of a person moving along the dimly lit pathways adjacent to the convent. Though the images were not crystal clear, they suggested that someone had been closely following her path, a fact that would later become central to the investigation. Between 11:15 p.m. and midnight, in a secluded section of the convent's garden, the unimaginable occurred. In this normally peaceful setting, Sister Abhaya was discovered, lying still in a quiet corner where the night's calm had been irrevocably broken. The scene, as later documented in detailed crime scene photographs and reenactments, revealed a carefully disturbed area, the gentle rustle of leaves, faint impressions on the soil, and the layout of nearby objects all contributed to a puzzle that investigators would painstakingly piece together. First responders arrived promptly at the scene, their actions captured in a series of interviews that conveyed the shock and gravity of their discovery. Their measured tones and careful recounting of events painted a picture of a community unprepared for such a loss. Neighbors and friends, many of whom had known Sister Abhaya for years, expressed deep disbelief and sorrow. They spoke of the quiet assurance she had brought to their lives, a presence now gone, leaving behind a void that resonated with each retelling of the night. As investigators combed through the area, they collected crucial evidence, footprints that suggested the suspect had maneuvered along specific routes, personal items inadvertently left behind, and subtle disturbances in the meticulously kept garden that once served as a symbol of the convent's serenity. Detailed maps overlaid with these evidence points have since become a cornerstone in reconstructing the timeline. Reenactments, based on these maps, reveal the suspect's likely movements across the grounds, emphasizing how the layout of the convent and its surroundings may have provided both opportunity and cover for the act. The investigation sought to establish a precise chronology, the exact moment Sister Abhaya's last interactions occurred with the convent staff, the time the suspect made their move, and how rapidly the scene transitioned from normalcy to chaos. Each element, down to the minute temperature changes noted by environmental sensors, was catalogued to build a comprehensive picture of that night. Within minutes of the discovery, the first official report was filed, an act that signaled the beginning of a long and rigorous inquiry into the loss of a woman who had touched so many lives. The immediate aftermath saw an outpouring of concern and collective grief from the residents of Palyam. Eyewitnesses recalled hearing hushed voices and witnessing the hurried arrival of police vehicles, their flashing lights a stark contrast to the calm night that had once prevailed. In the following hours, as the community grappled with the shock, detailed interviews and initial forensic findings began to circulate. Each new piece of evidence deepened the mystery, compelling the investigators to consider every detail. The images of the crime scene, now publicly available, serve as a somber reminder of the night when the familiar became unrecognizable, a night when the safety and harmony of Palyam were irrevocably altered. This segment of our investigation not only details the chronological events of that fateful night but also captures the raw, unfiltered reactions of those who witnessed the unfolding tragedy. The collective memory of Palyam, marked by both the subtle cues of the scene and the overwhelming shock that followed, continues to fuel the quest for answers in a case that remains a poignant reminder of the fragility of life. Within minutes of the discovery at St. Joseph's Convent, the investigation took shape with precision and urgency. At approximately 10:45 p.m. on April 22, 2019, the Palyam Police Department arrived on the scene. Leading the initial response was Inspector Rajesh Kumar, a seasoned officer known for his meticulous approach. Alongside him was Detective Anjali Verghese, whose reputation for careful attention to detail had already earned her respect among her colleagues. Their first priority was to secure the area and preserve every piece of evidence, no matter how small. Officers quickly established a perimeter, ensuring that the site of Sister Abhaya's death remained undisturbed. Inspector Rajesh Kumar later recalled the gravity of those first moments. "We had to work quickly and precisely. Every step was crucial." The team began by cataloging every detail of the scene: footprints in the garden, a discarded glove near the entrance of the convent, and various items that might otherwise have been overlooked. Forensic experts arrived shortly after, led by Dr. Meera Nair, whose team set about collecting soil samples, fibers, and biological traces from every corner of the site. Their early findings suggested there had been a brief struggle, evidenced by the disarray in specific sections of the meticulously maintained grounds. In parallel, investigators worked to reconstruct the timeline of the evening. Surveillance cameras from a nearby building provided grainy footage that, when synchronized with eyewitness statements, suggested a person of interest had been present along the same pathway that Sister Abhaya had taken after her evening prayer service. Over the course of the first hour, these efforts began to build a framework for understanding the sequence of events that led to that tragic moment. As the investigation advanced into the next phase, several significant breakthroughs emerged. A critical piece of evidence was the glove, which, upon forensic analysis, was found to carry traces of a rare cologne. This detail pointed the investigation toward a local businessman, Mr. Suresh Iyer, known to wear that distinctive scent. Simultaneously, interviews with several staff members and local residents revealed that on the day of the incident, an argument had been overheard near the convent involving a man identified as Arvind Menon, a figure whose presence had not been previously accounted for. Though these initial leads did not provide a complete picture, they laid the groundwork for a more focused inquiry. Over the subsequent days, the investigation incorporated both modern forensic methods and traditional detective work. Detailed maps of the convent and its surrounding area were created, pinpointing where each piece of evidence was found. Forensic photographs, lab reports, and crime scene sketches were meticulously assembled to form a visual narrative of that fateful night. These visuals, when combined with the physical evidence, began to hint at the possible movements of the individual involved. Every footprint and every minor disturbance in the landscape contributed to a timeline that investigators could piece together like a complex puzzle. Yet, the investigation was not without its challenges. Some promising leads ultimately proved to be dead ends. A tip concerning a suspicious vehicle parked near the convent led to an extensive search, only to reveal that the vehicle belonged to an unrelated local resident. In another instance, conflicting eyewitness accounts about the presence of a person near the scene introduced uncertainties that forced the team to re-examine each statement with renewed scrutiny. These missteps, while complicating the process, underscored the need for thorough verification in a case marked by an array of subtle clues. By the 40-minute mark in our detailed examination of the investigation, it was clear that each piece of evidence, no matter how seemingly insignificant, played a role in constructing the broader narrative. The combined efforts of Inspector Rajesh Kumar, Detective Anjali Verghese, Dr. Meera Nair, and their dedicated team were gradually peeling back the layers of the case. Every forensic report, every eyewitness testimony, and every detail captured in the surveillance footage contributed to a clearer, though still incomplete, understanding of the events surrounding Sister Abhaya's death. In these critical early stages, the investigation was marked by both notable breakthroughs and unexpected setbacks. False leads and conflicting evidence challenged the team, affecting the pace of the inquiry and the community's perception of the unfolding investigation. Nevertheless, the relentless pursuit of truth, backed by rigorous scientific analysis and methodical detective work, ensured that every potential clue was explored. As we continue to follow this investigation, the collaboration among the various branches of law enforcement and forensic science emerges as a testament to the depth and complexity of this case, one that has left a lasting impact on the community of Palyam. As the investigation entered its most critical phase, a decisive moment arrived that reshaped every previous assumption. For weeks, every lead had been meticulously pursued by Inspector Rajesh Kumar and Detective Anjali Verghese, with the tireless efforts of Dr. Meera Nair's forensic team gradually narrowing the field of suspects. Then, on the evening of May 15, 2019, a breakthrough occurred that would turn the tide of the case. A routine re-examination of evidence brought renewed focus to a single, discarded glove found near the garden of St. Joseph's Convent, a detail that had long been noted but never fully understood. Under the advanced analytical techniques available in Dr. Nair's laboratory, the glove yielded traces of DNA that, when cross-referenced with local records, matched that of Arvind Menon. This finding was corroborated by a set of fibers collected from the scene, which, upon detailed comparison with items recovered during a subsequent search, confirmed a connection previously only suspected. In the days that followed, Detective Verghese revisited earlier witness statements and surveillance footage. A local resident came forward with new testimony, recalling a conversation late that night involving Arvind Menon near the entrance of the convent. Confronted with the mounting evidence, Menon was brought in for questioning. The turning point came during a lengthy, intense interrogation led by Inspector Kumar. With the weight of the forensic data and the undeniable timeline of events laid out before him, Menon's resistance crumbled. His confession, delivered in a measured yet unmistakable tone, detailed his presence at St. Joseph's Convent on that fateful night and provided specifics that aligned with every piece of evidence collected by the investigative team. As these revelations took shape, the community of Palyam began to see the contours of a long elusive truth. The confession not only explained how the confrontation with Sister Abhaya had escalated into a tragic altercation, but it also shed light on the circumstances that had allowed the sequence of events to unfold with such devastating finality. For the investigators, the breakthrough validated every painstaking step of their work, from securing the scene and preserving even the smallest clue, to the comprehensive analysis conducted by the forensic experts. The case swiftly moved from investigation to prosecution. In a courtroom filled with community members, family, and local dignitaries, the trial of Arvind Menon commenced. Testimonies from Inspector Rajesh Kumar and Detective Anjali Verghese, alongside detailed forensic exhibits presented by Dr. Meera Nair, painted a clear picture of that evening. Every step, every minute detail from the initial response to the decisive breakthrough, was laid out in a coherent timeline. The prosecution's case was supported not only by physical evidence and eyewitness accounts, but also by the now admitted details in Menon's confession. When the verdict was finally delivered, Arvind Menon was found guilty of the murder of Sister Abhaya. The decision marked the culmination of an investigation that had spanned several months, providing a measure of closure to a community left reeling by the tragedy. For those who had known Sister Abhaya, her colleagues at St. Joseph's Convent, her friends, and the many residents of Palyam who remembered her as a source of comfort and guidance, the verdict was a bittersweet moment. Justice, as defined by the legal process, had been served, yet the loss remained deeply felt. In the wake of the trial, the impact on Palyam was profound. Community leaders, determined to honor Sister Abhaya's memory, initiated a series of reforms aimed at strengthening public safety and ensuring greater accountability within local law enforcement. Memorial services were held, where family members and friends shared stories of her kindness and unwavering commitment to the well-being of others. Her legacy, though marred by the tragedy of that night, became a catalyst for change, a reminder that even in the aftermath of profound loss, the pursuit of truth and justice could pave the way for healing. Today, the case of Sister Abhaya stands as a powerful narrative of how dedicated investigation, rigorous forensic science, and community resilience can converge to restore a sense of order after chaos. As Palyam continues to move forward, the memory of Sister Abhaya serves as both a solemn tribute and an enduring inspiration for those who believe in the power of truth and the strength of a united community. If you found this story compelling and want to uncover more cases that explore trust, betrayal, and the complexities of human behavior, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for our next gripping episode. Your support helps us continue to bring these stories to light. Don't forget to like and share this video to join the conversation. In the quiet moments following the resolution of this case, the echoes of that fateful night continue to resonate throughout Palyam. The investigation, marked by its rigorous attention to detail and unwavering commitment to uncovering the truth, has not only brought a measure of closure to those who knew Sister Abhaya, but also raised profound questions about justice and the strength of a community in mourning. As we reflect on the events that unfolded, from the meticulous work of Inspector Rajesh Kumar and Detective Anjali Verghese, to the conclusive forensic breakthroughs by Dr. Meera Nair, and finally, the confession by Arvind Menon, the story of Sister Abhaya's murder becomes more than just a chronicle of one tragic event. It serves as a testament to the enduring power of perseverance in the face of overwhelming loss. Her life, dedicated to service and compassion at St. Joseph's Convent, left an indelible mark on everyone who crossed her path. In the wake of her death, the community found itself grappling with both sorrow and a renewed determination to ensure that such a breach of trust could never be repeated. This case reminds us that every detail matters, and that the pursuit of truth can illuminate even the darkest of moments. It challenges us to consider how a single act can ripple through a community, altering lives and reshaping collective memory. Yet, despite the progress made in the investigation, questions remain, questions that continue to stir discussions among those seeking to understand the full impact of what happened. Was there more to the events of that night that the evidence could not fully capture? How might the community heal when the scars of that loss are still visible? And what measures can be taken to honor the memory of someone who gave so much to others? If you found this story compelling and want to uncover more cases that explore trust, betrayal, and the complexities of human behavior, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for our next gripping episode. Your support helps us continue to bring these stories to light. Don't forget to like and share this video to join the conversation. These reflections serve not only as a tribute to Sister Abhaya's legacy but also as a call for ongoing vigilance and improvement in our systems of justice. The resilience demonstrated by the people of Palyam, in the face of adversity, stands as a powerful reminder that even in the most challenging times, unity and determination can pave the way for healing and progress. Before we conclude, we invite you to share your thoughts. What do you think was the real turning point in this case? Your perspective is important, and we encourage you to leave your insights in the comments below. If you found this exploration of justice and community impact meaningful, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another in-depth story. Stay with us as we continue to bring you detailed investigations and thought-provoking cases. In our upcoming episodes, we will delve into related investigations and further examine the enduring effects of unresolved mysteries on communities like Palyam. Thank you for joining us on this journey of reflection and remembrance.